So Apple just dropped in their brand new inventions which they call iPhone XR. What does R stand for? You do not know, I do not know, even Apple is not certain about it. But they are certain about calling it a phone for everyone. Is it? Let's discuss. So before diving in and targeting iPhone XR, which is the real hero of today's video, there is two more devices that Apple launched along. In the Apple keynote, Apple launched three brand new devices: iPhone XR, XS and XS Max. That's very hard to say in one breath. Now a quick run through on the specifications of all these three devices. Talking about the display size and resolution, iPhone XR comes in 6.1 inch LCD display, which Apple calls it a retina display. Resolution is 1792 by 828 pixels. For XS is 7.8 inches super retina OLED display, resolution 2436 by 1125 pixels, and for XS Max it's 6.5 inch super retina OLED display, resolution is 2688 by 1242 pixels. Talking about the pixel density of XR, which is 326 ppi versus the 458 ppi of XX and XX Max. Now right out of the bat, I want to point out one point, that is, Apple, please be specific with your number games. Make it traditional, that we have 1920 by 1080 or 1080 by 720. Make it something like that. All these number games that you're playing, 1792 by 828, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. I mean, what is this 2688 by 1242? Now Apple, you're more genius than me. You're running a $1 trillion company, I know that. But for me, I'm not that genius. I'm just a normal guy with normal numbers and normal thinking. So it would be better if you make it easier for customers like us. And to also note, pixel density is little less as compared to XS and XS Max, which is 326 versus 458 ppi, mostly because it's an LCD display as compared to OLED displays. But we have to check the phone to understand it better. Software wise, all the three phones are coming with iOS 12. XR is coming with a single 12 megapixel rear plus 7 megapixel front camera, whereas the XS and XS Max is coming with dual 12 megapixel rear plus 7 megapixel front camera. All the three devices are coming with an A12 Bionic chipset, no fingerprint scanner, no headphone jack, and no USB Type-C cable this year also. And all the other big and small things, you will find it in the YouTube community, because there are a ton of videos already uploaded. Even if you do not know, it's just a matter of little bit of research, don't worry. Now to the main star of the show, iPhone XR. Now why specifically I am targeting iPhone XR? What's wrong? Well, nothing is wrong with the device. It's an extremely capable device. Also coming with an Apple A12 Bionic chipset. It's going to rock in your hands, possibly. Now undoubtedly it's a capable device and it can do a lot of things, but you know how Apple is and how Apple devices work, so keep that in mind. Now the only reason that I am making this video and I am targeting iPhone XR is because of this statement that Tim Cook gave while introducing these devices. While introducing iPhone XR, he stated that it's a device for all. Now I understand, as a company's perspective, expanding and getting more customers and more people onto your territory, your ecosystem is a good thought. It's brilliant thought. Is it really a brilliant thought? I doubt it. Now the idea is great. You want to expand and grab those people who has not used an iPhone yet, and bringing a lower end device which is in price terms relatively very cheap than the other higher variants, which is XS and XS Max, which is like out of budget. This thing sits in more budgety, but with a price tag that starts from $749 up to $899, can you really say that it's a device for everyone? Can you? Now you can say it because you are the company, you have made the product, now you want to sell it, so you want to come up with something promotional to sell it. So it doesn't harm you, but it harms those who are really damaging their pockets. Because it's an iPhone, they want to buy an iPhone. Now looking at the analytics and reports, the European culture is almost under the Apple territory or ecosystem, whatever you want to call it. Now what remains is the Asian market. And also in the Asian market, there are some people who buy an iPhone or Apple devices because they can afford one. Those who cannot afford, they do not buy. And in the other hands, there are some fools who just go out of their lens and try to grab something that they cannot. But looking at the market, Samsung, Google and all the other premium category phone manufacturers, they also come up with a very high price tags. But they never say that this phone is for everybody. Those who can afford it, surely they buy it. And those who can't, they don't. But this particular device, which is starting $749 up to $899, how do you call it as a phone for everyone? Mostly in a culture where most of the people have very minimum income to begin with. Also looking at the market, there are relatively very cheaper phones which withstand the iPhone XR. Coming up with a list, OnePlus 6, OnePlus 6T and even the Poco phone, which is just $300 phone, packing in some serious power. Also I agree they are not as premium quality as iPhone is, but also there is one more thing to remember. The original cost of iPhone sits somewhere between 2/4 or 1/4 of the original retail price. Now again, we cannot say anything, it's Apple. They have the tendency of keeping in the premium price tag. The earphones are great, earphones work very well, good work. But again, it's not a device for all. But if you're someone who says that it may not be a device for all today, but 1 year, 2 year or 3 year down the road, when the price tag decreases and it becomes more affordable, then it might be a phone for all. Listen to me, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the road, there will be much better devices. And I'm pretty sure how the market is going with OnePlus devices and Poco phones and Oppo and Vivo, what they are doing recently makes it more prominent that 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the road, we will have much more better devices, much more faster devices than iPhones in a relatively very affordable pricing. But if you're someone who decides to buy iPhone XR 3 years down the road, then you're no more than a foolish person. Now no offense to anybody, but this device iPhone XR is not a device for all. Apple will not understand it, you do. Congratulations, you're one step ahead of Apple. Now go give me a like.